Oh no. Oh, that wasn't on. Oh gosh.
That would be so. That would be so funny if that was. Zoom. Okay.
And just leave it there so we can see.
I like to go through this full.
Well, I know, but then we can't see Facebook.
It's all working.
Okay, somebody can just text us if we're not. Well, they wouldn't know if we're not live. Now what's happening?
Ah, good. Can't wait to have to zhuzh again.
Oh, I am gonna.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, hey.
Hey, everybody. We're getting set. It's time for Sunsets with
Dan and Cindy. Sunsets with.
Okay, let's do it in honor of him.
Sunsets with.
Okay.
Dan and Cindy.
Ah, that's so good. Hey, everybody. Great to see you tonight.
I'll give you a minute to sign
Everybody,
on.
and we'll get our masks on while they're
I
doing
know.
that. Come
Look
on,
at
let's
these.
do this.
So we've got
something.
We've gotten some really cool masks. Some friends sent the Thunder,
Yeah, if
Colts, Marshall.
And if I put it upside, it says Nad, or I can go Dan. See, Dan.
Dan and Cindy. Look how cute those are.
See, Dan.
Dan, Cindy. Oh, that's weird.
Oh, look, it's got the reflection of the mask.
Oh,
in
it's
the green
green
screen.
because it's green.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, wait, I'm blending in. Look.
Hey, somebody
Wait, can I
that
blend in
has
in
my
just a second?
cell, would you text me and make sure that we are live on Facebook?
It says live on Facebook right
Yeah,
up there.
I know. But
I know.
Do we trust it? I don't
Do
know.
we?
I don't know.
We do.
Hey, I hope everybody had a great week.
Oh,
We
those
want to
masks are great.
thank Scott Lawrence, who has
Yes.
done our graphics. Scott Lawrence, he is with the group Veritas. He's the bass.
He's
And
fabulous. And you know what?
He is amazing.
fabulous. Yes.
and so he's done all of our graphics. So we thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott Lawrence.
Ellie.
And?
I know, it's just we have lots of great kids.
Katie Pesla says, you're live.
Thank you, Katie Peslas. You know what?
Speaking of. Okay, we have to
I
be.
thank you.
Can
I
Can
really
we just
appreciate
be a
that
couple
text.
of proud parents?
Yes,
can
we
just
can.
Can we have a proud parent moment?
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
go, Cindy.
So this has been a crazy year, right?
It is. Yes.
And everybody has had to do some pivoting.
Yes.
Churches have had to pivot. Any
Yes.
artist,
Yes.
we kind of became unemployed all in one day. Just like, everything gone. So our kids, Donnie Peslis and his wife, Katie Peslis, came up with a fantastic idea. Now,
Yes.
when I was a little girl, I loved the Carol Burnett show.
Yes.
I just love variety shows. So they did a variety show this week.
Yes.
It was so fun.
And you know what? It was amazing.
It was just so fun.
Katie, if you're live, you're watching us, Katie, you never looked better, sweetheart. And you never sang better.
I know.
And Donnie, our son, he's so funny. I mean, Jack Black has got
Nothing. We've always said that.
on
Donnie
Donnie.
emceed.
Yes.
Katie and her friends. She does a lot of impressions.
Yes. Yes.
Entertained, and it was just lovely.
And
You can go. They can still.
Tell
Katie.
them, Cindy, where they can go.
Okay, Dan. KatiePeslis.com
Yes.
will take you everywhere you need to go. You can purchase a ticket and you can watch this online.
Tickets are still available.
KatiePeslis, KatiePeslis.com. You know what? It was such a refreshing hour
Yes.
to just spend
I mean,
and
it
hear
really
some
was.
music you love.
And the essence of Carol Burnett,
Yeah.
Dick Van Dyke,
Yeah.
Ed Sullivan. It had all the what am I looking for? What's the word the schmaltz,
Elements.
the schmaltz,
Schmaltz.
and the chutzpah,
Sure.
and the fun and the variety
Yeah, it
show.
was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was. So Donnie and Katie, we're so very proud of you.
Yes.
And we just want a chance to tell everybody about that. While we're talking about recommendations,
Okay, go ahead, Cindy.
our friends Voctive
Oh boy.
have
yes.
a new project.
Yes. Yes.
Ugh.
Do we have one that we could show?
No, but I have it.
Maybe next week
I
we'll
have
get
it
it.
on my phone. But
Okay.
Voctave.net, VOCTAVE.net. You can download their new project.
Yes.
They are the singers that we've heard before at Walt Disney World,
Yes.
at Epcot Center
Yes.
and the American Adventure.
Yes. Can we not say?
I'm not sure,
It's
so we
legally-
better not.
Okay, yes.
But you've heard them in the Americana Rotunda.
Yes, in the American
singing
Adventure.
a cappella.
The very back of Epcot.
Oh my gosh, this project is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And here's what you have to know. That everything you hear on the record,
Yeah.
that dates
Well,
me.
I know, but it's
Everything
okay.
you hear on the project, they can do live.
Yes.
So
Live.
all the low notes, that's
And?
real. All the high note,
Yeah.
I just can't. I just want to smack them in love.
You know, and let me say, it really is great singing.
It's
And
beautiful
if you love
singing.
great singing, if you love a cappella, it's got all the spirit of Disney, and there's some great stuff on it. Again, Voctive, and what is the title?
.net.
Voctive.net. And what's the
dot-
title of the new record again? I know.
Broadway and Main Street.
Broadway and Main Street. Maybe we'll have one next week.
Back in the
Tiff, if you're watching or any of the
Main
Voctive,
Street,
send us
USA.
one. Send us one to Dan and Cindy.
They
We'll
already
get it.
sent me one digitally.
Oh, digitally. Okay.
And I just, like, there's this one note I kept playing
Oh, I know,
for you.
I know.
That Kate, she sings it so high. And I just listen to it over and over and over again
Yes.
because it's amazing. So
All right.
those are a couple of recommendations. They're not tech tips, but they're entertainment tips.
Entertainment
so
tips.
KatiePeslis.com, Voctive.net.
Maybe
so
Thomas will put that up for us. Maybe he
he will.
Thomas will put that up. KatiePeslis.com, Voctive.net.
.net.
Okay,
Now,
it's time for.
well, I want you to hurry because I'm interviewing you tonight. I'm so excited. I'm really kind of nervous.
We'll be back after station
Nope,
identification.
there's no station, nothing. It may be a two-parter, though.
Well,
It's very possible.
Okay, here,
It's
let's
gonna
go
be a
with this. Go
two-parter.
with this. Tell them what
But-
it is.
Almanac moment with Dan.
And the four chord. I got to finish that
Oh,
up.
good.
All right.
Thank you, everybody who texted me
thank
saying,
you.
yes, we're
All
on.
right,
Great,
folks.
awesome.
Since
Thank you.
1792, this has been brought to you by your friendly, the Old Farmer's Almanac. Okay.
As opposed to the new Farmer's Almanac.
Well, they've been printing it for 228 years. So, hey, you know what?
My tech tip is also you can find this old Farmer's
There
Almanac
you
online.
go. All right, today, Cindy, today is the 9th of October. Okay, Friday. No, this is the 10th. Excuse me, the 10th of October,
Yes.
Saturday. And again, these are in Boston time, so got to do the math, and we'll explain that someday. But sunrise was a beautiful 6:52. Sunset about 6:10, which really was for us a little bit after 6:30. We're usually half an hour later than Eastern time. 11 hours, 18 minutes of beautiful sunshine today, and I want you to know we're experiencing this beautiful fall. It's fantastic. Fall in Oklahoma is 84 degrees, and I was on the golf course
I
today.
know.
I'm in short
Right.
sleeves. It's, you know what? It's just like warm. They flip the switch and it's 30.
Yeah, for like 2 hours, and then it goes back to 80. So fall is about 2 hours.
That was
Anyway.
brought to you by your Old Farmer's Almanac. It's your
Almanac moment with Dan.
brought to you by the Old Farmer's Almanac. Okay, I have to finish it. Okay. All right.
Okay, well, I've been looking forward to this because
Oh,
for
boy.
weeks,
Oh,
people
boy.
have been asking, we want to hear Dan. We want to hear Dan's story. And I just love, there's just pieces of your story that I love. And I just think everybody will get a kick out of it. So,
Well-
I'm a 6 on the Enneagram.
Yes.
So I love to ask questions. So I am
Yes.
super happy. What
Well-
what number are you?
I am a 7, and this is just so uncomfortable that it's all about me tonight.
Is it though? Yeah, I know. But enough about you. What do you think about you?
It's Susan is watching. She's going, oh, he's such a 7.
Such a 7.
I
Well,
am, Susan.
Okay,
and
we're
that's
gonna
why-
just
Okay, let's go.
we're gonna ease into this.
Okay, what do you
and I
got?
have a lightning round
Let's go.
of 10 questions.
Oh, this is
So just like what the
Lightning
first
round.
thing that comes to your mind.
Okay, ready? Let's
Okay.
get everybody ready.
Okay,
ready?
ready?
On your
So-
marks. Let's do what Anna said.
Accept or 3, 2, 1, go. All right. NBA or NFL?
Oh, come on. NFL, no
Okay.
question.
All right.
Cool.
See, I know the answers to some
Okay,
of these.
all right.
So, all right, introvert or extrovert? Really,
I'll
just
someday come out of my shell.
stop.
Okay.
Say it.
Extrovert. Okay, I sort of did.
So you said Enneagram number. What's your Myers-Briggs type?
Well, again, these are just preferences. It doesn't mean I'm just these 4 letters, but it's E in extrovert, intuitive, feeler, and
Perceiver.
perceiver, ENFP, the
Okay.
Tigger.
Now, when it comes to like snacks, sweet or salty?
Can you say both? No, definitely salty.
Okay.
No question.
Oh, I know the answer. And this we need
Somebody
to change
just
this
texted
one.
us something, and I want to make sure that, what was it? Was
I
it?
don't-
Okay, maybe it was just Mike. You ask the questions, I'll just make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, make sure.
Big day.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, big day for
Oh,
OU.
you. Oh,
Okay. All right. When it comes to beverages, water or soda?
Oh,
I
the
know.
answer. I really should be water, but
I know.
look,
I
I
know.
might know.
I know.
There's got to be water in soda. Right?
Okay. Favorite date night?
Oh, it's so easy. Dinner and a movie.
Exactly.
Boom, with
With
you.
me, I hope.
That's
Okay,
right.
all right.
Only.
Your favorite food?
Gosh, I know that's tough. That's tough. There's several things. The first thing that popped in my mind was pizza.
There you go.
Did you know the answer to that?
No?
What-
I thought you might say abuelos.
Oh no, but then you
Okay.
might. I mean, it could be. It could be Wednesday night's bag of burgers. So it could be.
Depends.
You know.
Okay. Do you have a favorite saying?
Oh.
I know what I think you would answer. It's something your Uncle Philip told you a long time
Well,
ago.
you know what?
about
There
money.
are a couple. The finances, and they're all about people. Some of my sayings are so much about character or people. But Uncle Philip's, Amo Philippe was my uncle, and his from Lebanon. He's the uncle that came here with one suit, two shirts, $500 in debt, and made millions. He's the great American story. Amo Philippe said, "Save your white dollar for your dark day," and
That's good.
That's his Uncle Philip.
And he did that very well. Yes, he did.
He did.
So what would you tell your younger self?
Wow. Well, that gets into so much, but adoption, I think because of adoption, we'll talk about that. You know, I worked so hard to be accepted and to overcome that, you know, not really knowing that I was working so hard to be accepted and overcome that. But I would love to tell him, just relax and enjoy life, and you're going to make it. And most importantly, God loves you, and everybody else will follow suit.
That's good.
How about that?
Other than Jesus, who's your favorite Bible character?
I'd have to say probably there are a couple, but probably in my life, Joseph pops to mind. Joseph, because you know, the things that he faced.
He was abandoned. He was abandoned and adopted.
And you know what? Had several, things that happened to him, and he overcame.
Yeah, some were his choosing.
That's
some
right.
were.
But I'd have to say, I really relate to his story.
Okay, I like
Joseph.
that.
Yeah.
Favorite band?
Okay, is this Christian? Is this
Yeah.
it? First thing that pops to mind for those of you audiophiles out there is Toto. Okay.
Come on.
They are the greatest band that most people don't know about. Really, the greatest band that almost was. But they are all amazing studio musicians. Look them up. Toto, Africa, Rosanna.
Okay. Well, I'm cracking up because I'm looking at your hair while you're answering these questions.
Why?
I remember what Maddie.
Oh.
Maddie.
Is there something wrong with it?
No, Maddie's looking at your hair when we were visiting.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
goes, Hobby, it looks like you have pepper in your hair. Well, salt and pepper. So there you
Pepper
go.
and salt. So,
All right, so here we go.
grandkids. Okay.
All right. So you were born
Yes.
Huntington, West Virginia.
Yes.
Tell us all you remember about that day. No, your parents.
Well, I was raised in a Greek family. I was born in Huntington, West Virginia, in 1961. So adopted, you know, and we could talk about that. But I was raised in a great Greek family. If you've seen my big fat Greek wedding, and you know you've seen the Windex. Well, put some Windex on. My mother's was methylate. If I wouldn't even tell her I got her. We're gonna get methylate. Oh, okay, so it explains so much. But
Any siblings?
No, I was an only child.
Only child. Now, Sam and Vera,
Yes.
they're the ones that
Yes.
your adopted
Yes,
parents.
that's who raised me.
So they were a little older when
You know
they
what?
adopted you.
So Sam and Vera, you know, Sam was World War II veteran, Navy.
Yep.
USS Cleveland, Charlie
Yep.
Love 5-5. So, and mom was a school teacher, master's, and we could talk. There's so many stories I have of going to Marshall University with her while she was getting her master's.
Wow.
They dropped me off at the library with a stack of encyclopedias
Oh my
and
goodness.
said, "You stay right here, Donald Jean.
Oh,
You do
wow.
not move." And I love
And
encyclopedias.
did you stay right there?
I did. I was compliant.
So that you pulled in your number you go to in stress or security, you pulled your 5 in.
Well, she might have paid off the librarian too. I don't know. That could have been.
And the super glue to keep you.
I still love the smell of encyclopedias
Huh.
to this day. I love them. Isn't that crazy?
And I love that.
So, but they adopted me, not in their 20s, not in their 30s, but after World War II, they ran Greek restaurants. Matter of fact, one on the Marshall campus called the Big Green Grill. It was now where Cam Henderson Basketball Center is.
Huh.
They ran that, but at 40 and 41, they
They
adopted Donald Jean Pestless. And so,
So I know you talk about Christmas a lot.
yes.
So did you tell them how you kind of found out you were adopted?
Okay, well, I didn't know, and Christmas was a great time. For me, it's still one of my favorite times. I just get overcome with the spirit of Santa or Buddy the Elf, whichever one of those. Buddy the Elf is probably so. And I would only go in the attic once a year because I knew there were creatures that lived up in the attic. But I would pilfer. Any of you, pre-retirees or boomers out there know what pilfering is. I would go in the attic with the sole purpose to find every Christmas present that I knew and unwrap it, then put it back together so my parents wouldn't know, right?
And yeah, but
So I'm in a box and I find this announcement, and I'm reading and it says, "You are cordially invited to the baby shower of our newly adopted son, Donald Jean Pestless." And I was like, I had to be 7, I could read, and I was going, well, that's me.
huh?
So, fast forward, I go down the steps, I've got this card, and I got to explain
Your
it
dad's
like,
on the ladder.
Dad's on the ladder trimming the tree. Mom is handing him icicles that they placed over one
At a time.
Yes. So, to get it just right, those
Yep.
icicles. And remember old-fashioned cameras like this, they had a bulb and it would just go pop, it would go pop. So in my life there's several things. This is one of the first times that bulb went chpunk. And I handed that to Mom and they were on the ladder, Dad, and I said, "What does adopted mean?"
Oh my goodness.
And I didn't know. I had no clue because I can
Had you
remember.
ever heard that word before?
No. And Mom goes, "Oh, honey, what do we do now?"
Oh.
We got to tell you. And so Dad came off the ladder and they walked me through that I wasn't from my mom's tummy, that some babies are born in the tummy and others get selected and get handpicked. And yours is very special because we got to choose you.
Oh, that's very sweet.
So it was right before, there it is. That's how I found out. But,
So when you would gather with your family then?
well, it was
after
Christmas.
that-
Oh,
Oh, yeah, it was Christmas.
it was Christmas.
Did
They all
you
came to our house.
feel differently?
Well, you know what I thought? Well, gosh, I'm adopted. So I started watching my cousins.
Okay.
I watched that Christmas and I thought, God, from all I can tell, I'm the favorite. So I don't know. I mean, maybe this adopted thing is good.
It was probably good that you're a 7.
I did the math, and as
Yeah.
far as I could tell, I'm the favorite child. So I don't know if this adoption is good for
It's
everybody.
good.
It's
I love that. So that was, you were probably 6 or 7 because you
7-ish.
said you could read. And about age 10, your family moved, you and your mom
Yes.
and dad, from Huntington
Yes.
to Georgia.
Yes. I was a West Virginia hillbilly, a Greek hillbilly, and we moved to Georgia, a little town just northeast of Atlanta. And Dad got a job with Southeastern Power. He was a CPA, an accountant. And it was quite a year,
Yeah.
Sandra Faye. I was called Yankee
Ooh.
the whole year.
And you're from Huntington.
5th grade. I'm like, dudes, I'm right on the Mason-Dixon line. I'm pretty close.
Did you know what a Yankee was?
No, but I found out. I knew that couldn't
You
be,
learned a lot.
that couldn't be good.
Huh.
But it was awesome, and I had great friends. And it was a great 5th grade year.
So a couple good things about the 5th grade year.
Yes,
You
yes.
got to play a lot of sports.
I did everything I wanted to do. Played football, basketball, baseball. Did everything, and it was just a great. It was just a great year, in so many ways.
So that was defining in that way, but it was also defining
Yes.
in a really hard way.
In May of '72, my dad passed away. Sam had a cerebral hemorrhage. One weekend he was well, and the next weekend he was gone. So that, for an 11-year-old boy, that was again
Wow.
another one of
Wow,
those.
wow.
The camera, the old-fashioned camera.
Yeah.
Chook. That's
Yeah.
a pretty good sound. It went
Yeah.
off, and so we moved. We moved because we had only rented our house to our pastor back in Huntington, West Virginia.
Okay.
So we moved back, my mom and I, to my boyhood home in
Wow.
Huntington, West Virginia. So
Wow.
moved back. Yeah.
And so you gathered together as a family to grieve your dad.
Yes.
Can you share about?
Hmm. Okay, well, that's a, this is it's interesting, the things that shape you and make you so clearly. My dad passing was something, and my mother was incredible. I was an only child, and the rest of her life was really focused on, she'd say to me, Donald Jean, my only prayer is that you will grow up to be a fine young man. That was Vera. She would love you so much.
And she would love seeing the man you
well,
become.
but everything. She
really
was my first character educator, Vera. But we were, and I'll say this, Uncle Bert meant well, but the Italian,
absolutely did.
Uncle Bert, I found out later, Wilbur, was my Italian uncle. I had a Greek uncle, I had a Lebanese uncle, I had an Italian uncle, which meant I could get a meatball, I could get meatloaf, or it could be a grape leaf at dinner.
Or a sardine.
Or it was awesome. But we came into the house, he took me out to the backyard. We were at Aunt Joe's house by the pool. He took me by the ear. By the way, that's a quite a way. That's probably what maybe this year's longer. It could have been this, to be taken out by the ear. And he said, okay, Donald Jean, cry. I need you to cry now. I want you to cry. And this is it, because you are now the man of the house.
Wow.
What I didn't know then, I know now, 50 years later, he was 8 years old selling newspapers on the street.
Wow.
When he was 8.
Wow.
Bert was passing on to me. He was 8
Yeah.
and had to help his Italian. He was number 10 of baby. As 8 years old, in the 20s, selling newspapers.
Wow.
So at 11, he's like, dude, you're grown.
You're grown up. Yeah.
You're the man.
Wow.
And he said, I don't want you to cry all during the funeral. And I didn't shed a tear.
Wow.
It's really something. But you know what? I have to
It's
say
not what
this.
he meant to communicate.
No, but I got to say this. I had great uncles. So the Uncle Fred, these are guys are in heaven now. Uncle Fred, Uncle Bert, Uncle Bob in Dayton. I wouldn't be here. I had uncles, family, step in and say, okay, this boy is going to make it. So I owe those guys.
Yeah, very much so. It's the village.
The village.
We all need a village. Well,
Village.
when you came back to Huntington, you started getting involved in two things.
Yes.
Church and then your sport.
Yes.
So tell us about both.
Well, you know what? Mom knew two things. I was hyper. You know what? If you knew me as a kid, can you imagine me as a kid? The videos, we've got to get these because I know where the box is. And I've got these 8mm videos. The only videos they have of me as a child, it was that big, remember with the big bright light, the camera, is my back. My dad chasing me. I ran. That light.
I totally could see that.
All I have is my back. Those are the videos of Donald Jean. But anyway, Mom knew to keep me in church. And so Madison Avenue Church of God, I'm a Church of God boy, 3 generations, my grandparents, my mother. I probably should be Greek Orthodox, but my Aunt Mary was saved in the Church of God. And she was Uncle Fred's wife, Aunt Mary, saw that I would go to church. And she was a saint, really, Mary Murdoch. She's a legend at Madison Avenue Church of God, but I was there 8 days a week,
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
I didn't stand a chance. Youth group, I was in youth group before, Mr. Douglas, sorry, my voice
Sorry,
is
that's funny.
I'm doing a lot of talking.
I know. Well,
And
so you couldn't.
Yeah.
Your mom was nervous about you playing the sports you played in Georgia.
Right. She didn't want me to play football.
But she knew you needed to be active.
They fed all the football players at their restaurant. So she said, Donald Jean, they came in casts and broken.
Yeah. No, she didn't want that.
So you're going to roller skate.
Okay.
So I got into competitive. If you've seen,
Yes.
okay, it's like, I know, this is one of those things. But from the time I was 8 till I was 18, if you've seen Dancing with the Stars or the ice dancing in the Olympics, that's what I did. Tango, foxtrot, paso doble. So from 8, I had partners and also did the school figures where you trace the lines.
Excuse me.
Oh, bless you. Bless
Sorry.
You. That's okay, Cindy. Bless
Sorry,
you.
it's allergies. Don't you feel
But
like
now-
every time you sneeze now, you have to explain?
Yes, we do. But see, I'm going to take this. But now, see, we take your hand like this.
Oh.
And there's
See?
my skating
There it
partner.
is.
There it is. So yes, it was like Dancing with the Stars, but on skates.
On skates.
That's it.
And so you did that up until you were graduated from high school.
All the way through junior high school, at the state, national levels, regional. Competed.
We
at all
do
those.
have pictures, but
They're
locked. They're locked away.
There are videos, but there
there are?
Yes, there are.
Oh, I think that would be amazing.
So, but you know what I learned, Cindy? I got to tell you, because I was all summer. Your state, region, and national championships were in the summer. So while I was at the pool, I was always skating 8 hours a day in the summer. So I learned discipline. I learned how practice, if you want to become good, which really was great preparation for voice and ministry to know how to learn. So I learned a lot of discipline and things from skating. But anyway, yes.
You had to work hard at that.
Those rumors are true. I was a skater.
Yes. All right. So I'm just going to announce right now.
Are we through yet?
No,
Okay.
we're gonna need to do 2 parts.
Okay.
Because there's no way we're gonna get through all of these questions tonight.
In 5 minutes.
I know,
I know,
5
it
more
goes-
minutes. So
Okay.
we'll save, something for next week. So here's a couple more questions.
Okay. Cindy.
So you started out at Marshall. I'm just gonna skim through here.
Let's go.
Started out at Marshall University.
Yes, pre-med.
Go Herd.
Go her.
Then went to GBC, Gulf
Felt-
Coast Bible
Felt
College.
called to the ministry, exactly, and went to all the way
Houston,
from little,
Texas.
from a town of 100,000 less to a town of 2 to 3 million, Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
Gulf Coast Bible College.
And then found your way to Michigan.
Yes.
Began singing at Gulf Coast Bible College.
Yes.
Began singing at Michigan.
To study opera.
And so music has been a huge part.
You know, it's kind of funny. I'll say this. I always sang. I was all state chorus. I did all those things through high school and Glee Club, but it was always skating. So music, and always
Isn't that
sang in
funny?
church.
Huh.
But I didn't really, when I felt called to ministry, it's like, what could you do? Well, I've sung my whole life. Mom said, you've sung your whole life. So, GBC, I've had great voice coaches along the way, just fantastic. But music was the thing God used.
And so you did a lot of solo concerts.
I did.
Traveled with the group One, and
Oh, boy.
also sang for a season at Disney World.
I did.
Oh!
With the voices.
With the
We
Voices
go ahead and
of
say it.
Liberty.
Voices of Liberty. Yes.
For a year.
For the 80s.
That was a hard.
There were some mullets.
That was a hard season.
There were some mullets back then in the 80s. And,
Mullets and curly hair.
Oh boy. But you know what, I had, that was really an exciting time of our life. And yet it was a tough time. The adoption, if you don't work through it, what will happen with the things we go through? If you don't work through them, they'll work their way out through you.
Mm-hmm.
And, my first marriage didn't survive that. And I had 3 fantastic kids. I got to thank their mother for
Absolutely.
the most beautiful, Donnie, Allie, Molly.
Absolutely.
Donnie was the first blood relative I had on this planet.
Yes.
And
What was that like? Okay.
He and I have a bond. There's just a bond that we have.
Because it's like
and
I
he
am
looked like me.
related to this
He looked
guy.
like me. He was my blood, and it was really something special. Your children, when you're adopted and you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but you're to look at your blood relatives, to look at Donnie and Allie
Mm-hmm.
and Molly, not knowing that we'll have more to tell you later. That I was actually seeing my DNA.
Yeah.
That I was seeing Donnie, his DNA.
Yeah.
I can connect now where it is. Allie.
Right.
I can connect who exactly Allie looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And Molly. And when you grow up with that, you take it for granted.
Mm.
But I never
That's
took
true.
that. So
That's
you
true.
maybe take a little bit and say, oh, well, there's my dad. I'm sorry. You
Right.
can blame him.
Right.
But so it was sort of like reverse engineering for me.
Well,
in that
I
way.
want to leave with this just tease of this little story.
Wow.
So when your mom passed,
Yes,
she left a safety deposit box.
she did.
And
did.
you and Michelle actually opened it first.
We did.
And in that safety deposit
We did.
box was what?
Well, my mother was that kind of lady. I got to pause and just say she was organized, and everything was detailed for me and set out for me and left to me. And so Vera, again, my mother, what a great woman of character. But it's the first time in that safety deposit box is long. And you open that up, and right on top was the adoption papers.
Wow.
And it said, you opened it up, and it was sealed. It was there, and it said, baby boy McGinnis was my name. My mother's name I saw
Wow.
for the first time. My mother's name was Virginia Louise McGinnis. And so this Greek boy that I thought, I'm really Scotch-Irish, raised with a Greek family, which is so awesome. But that
Wow.
really began, we knew growing up in the Greek family, we knew this, that your dad was a football player.
Yes.
Okay, he was a football
Kind of
player.
the lore.
The Lord.
that goes around.
Yeah, because Greek families, it's like, what? You don't want to be Greek? We're not going to tell you. What? So, but I knew that Dad
That's
was.
really good, by the way.
Thank you. Dad was, he was Greek, and my mother was, we found out later, she was the captain of the Majorettes. He was a
Your
freshman.
dad was not Greek.
No.
He was a football player.
I meant Dad was a football player at Marshall, freshman year, and my mother was the captain of the Majorettes.
Yeah.
Her
Isn't that
senior year.
her senior year in high
Young.
school?
Yes.
And we're going to get into all of that
Oh,
next
boy.
week
Oh,
and
boy.
all that has unfolded. But really quickly, when through this circumstance and that circumstance,
Yes. Tell them.
we got some information
We did.
about who possibly your birth father might be.
Yes.
And can I tell this? Or you want to tell it?
Well, I'll tell them because, but
Yeah, you
Sandy,
tell it.
let me say this. Sandy, and I always felt like I let, really, Michelle Denise, my former sister-in-law, really
Yeah.
did a lot of, so
So
Denise
much.
Booth, if you're
Yeah.
watching, she did so much and she was excited.
She was so excited.
I was
And we'll
excited.
explain how all that happened next week.
But, and Sandy really took the lead too, once we were married, to finding things out, and she really had connected, but it was my former, okay, so the connection.
Yeah.
This is amazing. It's like 6 degrees or 7 degrees from Kevin Bacon. My former brother-in-law's niece,
Yes.
Barbie. No, niece, Pam Booth.
Yes.
Her best friend was Barbie Perry,
Yes.
who is my cousin, really, but she's the niece. And her favorite uncle was my dad, Jim Perry.
Yes.
Get it? Former brother-in-law, cousin, niece.
I don't know how many times
best
I've
friend.
heard that. I still don't get it, but it's amazing.
And so she made the call.
So
You want to take
didn't feel like you could do that.
Right. So Sandy.
So
did it.
I called and asked Barbie,
Yes.
hey,
Barbie Perry.
maybe this, she said, I think it'd be better if I talked to my Uncle Jim, she called him.
Yes.
And so, long story short, and we'll have to do part 2 next week.
Yes.
She called me back and she said, well, I talked to my Uncle Jim today.
Yes.
And she said, Uncle Jim, I don't even know how to explain this, but there's some young man who thinks you might possibly be his father.
Mm-hmm.
And Uncle Jim said, wait, before you say anything else, it makes me cry. Is his birthday March the 8th, 1961? And Barbie said yes. And he said, what'd he say?
I've been looking for him all my life.
I've been looking for him all my life.
So let me say this too. Every story has as we read in the Bible, I think that's why the Lord used the story. It has rises and falls. It has good news. It has
Yes,
tragedy.
that's right.
And I want to say to my mother passed very young in 1969.
Mm-hmm.
She passed. And we always had this poem that was hanging up in Sam's bedroom. Our adopted son, our adopted son.
That is named after
That is
your
named
dad.
after my
Adopted.
Sam,
Yes.
my dad, who raised me. But it told the story of 2 birth mothers. One mother gave me life,
Yes.
and one mother taught me how to live it.
Yeah.
And I just thought of that. That's very apropos to say.
Absolutely.
You know what? I don't know if you're going to ask me about our inspiration. If we're going to end up there. in
Yeah,
just a moment.
we actually have to end up there
Let's go.
because we're
We're
out of time.
but-
Definitely part 2 next week.
Okay.
Definitely.
yes. Go.
No, you.
Well,
Your life verse and just
yeah.
close us out here.
Luke 137 is one of my favorite scriptures, and Sandy always likes context, but the angel was sharing with Mary the news of what was going to transpire in this young gal's life, and it was somewhat impossible. I mean, the odds stacked against her, the odds of the things that she should do, the odds of the impossibility.
She knew the truth from her lens.
Yes.
This how can this be? She even
That's right.
questioned the angel.
That's it. And the angel said, with God, nothing is impossible.
Yeah.
And a life verse really should kind of be embodied, I think, by your life. And folks, I really shouldn't even be here. The amazing thing of this story is God is good, and He's been ahead of me, He's been behind me, and He's walked beside me. Even when I would veer to the left, when I zigged in football and I should have zagged, okay?
Or life.
Her life, He came through and brought me back. He's always been with me. So God is the God who takes impossible. If we didn't have impossible situations, we wouldn't need Him. He's the same God that took 2 fish and 5 loaves and fed 5,000 people. He's the same God that took 1 million or 6 million people, however many it is, lined up on the Red Sea and said, "You'll cross on dry water."
Yeah.
Dry land, excuse me. All I know, I kind of feel like that guy we hear the story in John. I think it's John 8. All I know is I was blind and I can see.
And he did it.
And he did it. So
He did it.
I'll take the blame for the mistakes and the zigs instead of the zags, but he gets all the credit. The Lord gets all the credit. He's the
all
one
the blessings.
that's blessed.
That's
So
good.
that was a lot of life, folks. Maybe more than you want to know.
Well,
but
and then we met your birth father.
we can talk all of this.
Met
Yes.
extended family, brothers. So we've got a whole nother show.
But my adoption
To do
story,
this.
is something really special. And again, I got to thank. Who do we thank? I thank the Lord. But God knew what I needed. He sent me to a beautiful family that gave me, I'll end on this, the two most important things that I could ever have. That I'm sitting here today because of these ingredients, and that was love, the Greek family of love, and it was Jesus Christ that I met at Madison Avenue Church of God and saw through the love of my family what that looked like. So thanks for listening tonight.
That's beautiful. I know the rest of the story, so I'm excited
Well, thank you for this.
for next week. It's really
I hope
good.
we didn't bore
A
you.
lot of people have texted me or messaged me this week and said they heard you sing on YouTube, and so it was just time we just talk about it. You've always been the wind under my wings,
Well,
and we are learning to fly together. And
we are,
that's the
and it's
best part.
a great season
It is
together.
indeed.
So thank you for being with us tonight. We'll close with that. Oh, you went to FaceTime. It's going to go to FaceTime.
I'm sorry. I don't know what
I think
happened.
I think we just
I don't know what
I think you
happened.
just went and you just signed us off. I think, babe.
Okay, hold on. Nope,
No,
we're there.
still.
So, Aaron, if you're watching,
Wow.
Dan, no, hold on, I have to tell.
This is so.
This is so Dan and Cindy.
So Dan.
Hold on.
Well, we're going to say to you tonight, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. And I guess it's going to be part 2 of This Is Your Life, Dan. But remember, whatever you're going through,
What's the word?
God is the God of making the impossible
Nothing
possible.
is
Nothing is impossible. Luke 1:37. Look that up.
All right. Yep. Well, next week we'll see you same time. 8:30. Let's do our thing. 8:30 Eastern.
Yes.
7:30 Central. 6:30 Pacific.
And in Australia.
Tomorrow. All right.
Good night,
Enjoy your
everybody.
sunsets. Bye, everybody.